Warning: some viewers may find the following content disturbing. Viewer discretion is advised. As you may have heard, the abandoned water park called River Country is finally being demolished after being abandoned for 19 years. River Country had been mostly swept under the carpet, and Disney pretended that the thing didn't exist, as questions about River Country were no longer answered after 2005. I was one of the lucky few people to catch a glimpse of the theme park after Disney left it to rot, and now the park is gone. It's about time I tell you about my experiences there, and tell you about the time my life almost ended prematurely. It was about 7 years ago when I had decided to venture out to the one water park that was left to rot. My cousin Jake told me about it. He was into abandoned and decayed places with his teams. I don't remember their names. All that I know is that they were gathering funding to venture out to a place called Treasure Island to extract the place and sell whatever they could to fetch profits. The plan to go there was simple. Head to the nearby Fort Wilderness campsite and take a specific route over to a portion of the park that hadn't been fenced off yet. So when Fort Wilderness opened back up to the public, the plan went into action. The secret route had led into some woods, and those woods went to, I believe, the old water slide they had there. The park was completely overgrown and decaying. The sight was creepy, but also beautiful in a way, seeing a once grand shining park left to rot. For about an hour, I wandered around the park taking in the sights. I saw a pool in the shape of a love heart, the water being no longer maintained. It lied there still, with bugs hovering all over it. There was a ticket stand near the main entrance, and it was mostly intact. However, the thing wasn't in mint condition either. It was covered in graffiti and drawings. One of them was a completely white Mickey with blue shorts. I guess some little kid got creative with the colours. Then I noticed something. A piece of graffiti that read something that caught my eye. It read, "Tonight is the night we finally achieve our destiny. He will join us. Hail Mickey." Then it had the words TCOM signed at the bottom. What the hell did that mean? Then I heard some rustling in a nearby bush. Thinking it was a wild animal, I quickly leapt behind a nearby tree and waited for whatever was in those bushes to pass. I heard some talking between a couple of people. While I didn't catch all of their conversation, all that I know is that they are meeting to, and I quote, convert another to be their friend. And they were going to be set up this conversation at the docks where it was isolated. I gathered all of my caution and I peeked over the tree. What I saw was quite confusing. I saw 3 people dressed up in mascot characters. One was Mickey, one was Minnie, and one was Goofy. Why the hell are 3 mascots here in this abandoned place anyway? I knew the answers were wherever the hell they were off to, so I decided to follow them to their spot. I figured there were more people in on whatever they were doing, so I kept my wits about me. So I kept taking cover behind whatever I could find. About 30 minutes after following them, my theories were confirmed correct, as 3 more people dressed up in 3 robes stepped out from a nearby bush. The robes were coloured in black, with red lines going in a star shape. I also noticed that one of them was holding a black bin bag, and it looked like it was containing something. Finally, after what seemed like forever, they had arrived at the docks. By then, the sun had completely set, and now the moon was the only thing illuminating my path. They then laid the bin bag on the ground and begun to empty the contents inside. It was a rotted and decayed corpse that fell out of that bag. Its skin was green and its eyes and mouth was leaking blood. I mean, what the fuck was I looking at? What were they planning to do with that thing? As those thoughts had raced through my head, the mascots had vanished for a moment. Then they came back with something that made this whole situation even more strange. It was a Mickey Mouse costume, but its eyes were missing, but apart from that, it was a completely whole suit. Then they proceeded to open the suit, and they stuffed the body inside of it. I just watched as the limp and lifeless cadaver was locked inside that suit. But for what purpose? They then began to chant the words, "Join us, join us." over and over. After about 5 minutes of doing that, a red swirl had surrounded the costume, and then with a sudden blast of red light, the suit was standing, all on its own with no support. It was just a normal Mickey, but the eyes were terrifying. They were human-like and glossy as they scanned the area processing its surroundings. I then heard one of the road figures speak up in a satisfied tone. "It was a success, my brothers and sisters. Another member has joined the cult of Mickey. Welcome to the world, Mick." So that's the name of that thing. Its face is terrifying though. I was going to turn out to leave when I heard Mick say, "Hi there, care to join us?" He was looking right at me. His pupils suddenly became bloodshot. Then, suddenly, he turned and savagely mutilated the other cult members. All I heard was the constant slashing and stabbing, as one by one the cult members fell to earth, moving no more. Then Mick, with a crazy look in his eyes, ran after me. He wanted to kill me and turn me into one of them. However, that thing didn't know that I ran marathons, so I kept ahead of the monster that was hot on my pursuit. I ran past a hill and I accidentally smacked against it, and a boulder became dislodged. It just barely missed me, but it hit Mick right on the knees, forcing the thing to the ground. However, it wasn't giving up, and it used all of its energy to free itself, and then the thing screeched. Then its leg snapped off, and the thing was crawling towards me, the tiny stumps on its legs bleeding heavily. I wasn't hanging around though. I spotted a boat that one of the security teams had left to rot. Luckily, the thing was somehow still seaworthy. I climbed aboard and sailed off away from that disgusting place. As I was sailing away, I spotted a nearby island with a pretty big building. Standing outside of it was a fully white Mickey Mouse with blue shorts waving at me. I couldn't get a glimpse of its face, but I had a feeling it wasn't good news, so I steered away and returned to Fort Wilderness, where I packed my things and I left. I'm only saying this tale now because Jake called me today, saying he had acquired the funds they needed to go to Treasure Island. Then he mentioned about having to watch a white Mickey Mouse with blue shorts as he wandered around the building. I don't know if I should go and warn him about it. I didn't know if that suit was worth worrying about. But for now, I'm gonna rest for a week. I'm sure no incidents will happen. Jake is a strong guy. I'm sure he can handle it. I hope.